thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Slow down, bro. Slow down, Rico. Good morning, because it's Thursday, December 19th. Today is, Rico, you're going to love this. It's going to help you out right here. It's National Oatmeal Muffin Day.
Ooh, how's that going to help me out?
You know what I'm saying.
Oatmeal muffin. I like muffins. I do like muffins.
I bet.
I do like oatmeal, so I guess you're right.
It's also National Hard Candy Day.
Okay, I prefer soft candy, but okay. All right. Each their own. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum.
And it's also National Re-Gifting Day, which is perfect because it's also Jenny Beth's birthday today, you guys.
Hey. Shout out to... Oh, I'm not going to say that when you said her birthday. You know, you said re-gifting and then you said Jenny Beth. You know what I'm saying?
The gift that keeps on giving.
Well, thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, and our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So thank you all for joining us from whatever platform you are joining us from. And we are going to kick it off with the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the man who has been a little sickly but is feeling a little vigorously today. That's right. He's dressed in blue and yellow like all of a sudden he's a warrior all again. That's right. It is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Oh, yeah, Jason. Thank you. What's happening, everybody? And it's the thirstiest of all Thursdays. I got some big news. The biggest name and cannabis technology is tapping out. Is it a sign of more doom and gloom to come? According to Market Watch's Steve Gelsey, Weedmaps founders Doug Francis and Justin Hartfield are taking their ball and going home. The duo made an official proposal to pull Weedmaps out of the stock market and take the company private for $100 million, citing unavoidable challenges in the cannabis industry. Despite the stock doubling in value this year, it remains a fraction of its 2021 peak of nearly $28 per share, closing out at $1.39 on Wednesday after a 13.9% spike on the news in late and after hours trading. Francis and Hartfield's offer of $1.70 per share seeks to acquire the 68% of outstanding shares of the company's stock that they don't already own. For those unfamiliar, Weedmaps went public back in 2021 through a SPAC merger. Hearing more and more of those, aren't we, Jason? More and more of those chickens coming to roost. But the company struggled for years to keep up with declining cannabis market volumes, consolidation among retailers, and competition from mainstream technology providers like Google Maps. The founders argue that privatization offers stockholders immediate liquidity and certainty amidst all of these challenges. I guess it's the least that they can do after burning through literally billions of dollars of valuation over the last 3 years. Weedmaps has been an industry staple forever, y'all. And I'm sure every single one of us has both good and bad memories involving the company, but I refuse to feel bad for anybody who lost any money in the stock market betting on them. Their technology has been years behind anything comparable in mainstream America since forever, since they were incepted. They've continued to promote trap shops right next to legal dispensaries despite being called out for it countless times. And I don't recall the company ever reporting any positive news when it came to quarterly earnings or financial forecasts going since they've been public. And they continued to charge single location mom and pops already struggling to keep the lights on and paying overpriced rent and being taxed to death. Still charging them $10,000 to $15,000 a month per dot because on Weedmaps, that's where everybody's still looking for weed, right? Right? That where y'all find to be? Hey Siri, can you tell me where the nearest dispensary is to me?
Oh, you're funny.
She got 5. Right? Like, come on, man. Weedmaps was blessed with a blank check to evolve, and they failed to do it. Period. They've been eating for years off the finesse, and big props to them for doing it. But that's all I got, man. It's been good while it lasted. I don't know if it's going to trickle down to the rest of the cannabis technology or the rest of the industry, but there are better options out there, y'all. SEO costs less to get you a good SEO service. There's plenty of cannabis-specific SEO services. If you need to be connected one, holler at your boy. I don't get paid off for that. I just have friends I know that get people looks and they get them visibility online, and you actually get good data back from them, which you don't get from Weedmaps too. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News. I'd love to hear what the rest of the team has to say about this. Weedmaps, they out.
I mean, their pull-up game is strong, right?
Is it really? They kept it in for 3 years, bro.
Just saying, bro. Just saying. I mean, I'm not surprised by this at all when it comes to Weedmaps. They've been looking for a way out. I've been hearing that there's been a lot of turmoil going on in their boardrooms and whatnot. So this is not a surprise. And maybe this is what Weedmaps needs is to go back to being a private company, so then that way they can actually service the community that they claim to serve.
I think that's the smartest play, like from the jump, was to get acquired by a mainstream company. Like their technology was not. The value was in the data, and they weren't really sharing that data except for with those reports they put out like every year, and a lot of that information is found elsewhere now too. So they haven't really kept up with any competition. Mainstream companies are covering that now. You can go on Google Maps, you can go on Siri, like any other service will find out where all these legal dispensaries are. And if you're a smart cannabis company, like if you're a smart retailer, like what is the advantage like going with Weedmaps of today over just going with this?
Go ahead, Jenny.
The tough part as like a retail operator, right? Like it does help. And as much as I want to shit on Weedmaps, and they do absolutely overtax, they do overcharge, they do, like they're quick to snatch your position. You have to pay for pole position. It does help, and there's a reason why they're still getting that $10,000 to $15,000 a month, because it does actually. So as much as they fucked up, as much as they snitched, as much as they've done everything else that we've talked about Weedmaps has done, unfortunately, it's a necessary evil still at this point.
And now evil is, I would just argue that evil is not necessary, right? And the reason why I'm saying this, like everybody knows that Weedmaps works, but if they as a company failed to show you exactly how well that it works, if they can't really articulate that, what's the point of using it? If you're gonna continue, how are you gonna go back to your investors as a retailer? How are you gonna go back to your investors and say like, yeah, I spent $120,000 on Weedmaps this year, but they can't even give you the data back showing you exactly how much return you had on that investment? That's just not a smart move.
Well, I've pulled that shit, and they should actually be able to do that, and they should be doing that. But I'm,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I understand how to pull my own data out, right, and see whatever. And
a lot of companies don't, though. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of companies don't, and a lot of companies could be doing a lot of things better. But no, we've done it with and without. Pulled the data, and unfortunately, they are helpful. And if they were smart, they'd be doing that themselves. If you guys want ideas, Weedmaps, you can fucking call me, and I'll charge you $15,000 a month, and I'll consult for you.
I do think from a consumer standpoint, like not everybody is just like, where's the closest dispensary? You might want to know where a certain cultivar is or who carries a certain brand, things like that. You know, that not all that is on the website, because a lot of the shit that's on the website is built, their Weedmaps menu that's built into their website. Yeah. So I think that is something that's overlooked from a consumer standpoint. I totally understand what you're talking about from a retail standpoint, though.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I know. I'll go ahead, Dale.
When I set up a retail organization, I've done multiple of them. We set out and talk about, okay, how are we going to get the word out there? There weren't a lot of options besides Weedmap that were really driving people to your business. So you had to look at them seriously as an option. But as Jenny pointed out, they make you pay for pole position. And if somebody else comes along and is willing to pay more, the next thing you know, your monthly goes up. And how do you budget for this stuff? Because you didn't really get the kind of feedback. Certainly, if you were getting people coming in, you could pay your bills. It seemed like some feedback. But when you're doing marketing, you need to target audiences. You need to learn what your ROI is. Where are the people you need to concentrate on? Change what you've got available, things like that. It just was not there. And so we were pulling our hair out. Where in the hell do you go? Because Weedmaps still has that name recognition. But man, it seems like they tie both your hands behind your back and just open your wallet up, and they just keep picking and picking and picking. And we need more options that the consuming public knows how to get them. I mean, I'm IT challenged. So, I mean, I can go to Google and look some things up. We need a better company that has the name recognition that gives all that follow-up. So Rico and you and Jenny, if you have them, let's let people know, because my clients are like pulling, what the fuck do we do? I mean, we're sort of have to go there, but $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month is a lot of change when you really don't know how well this is working.
Yeah, when you're not able to go ahead, Rico.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I mean, with our company at Happy Cabbage, like, we can dig into your POS. All of that data is in your POS. So all the stuff that Weedmaps, Leafly, like any of these plugins, they still feed into your POS, and legally that data has to be in your POS. There's companies like mine, I'm sure Jenny Beth knows a few others, or going just like direct SEO is an easier play, and it's easier, it's cheaper, and it's a lot more fruitful to actually get your name out there and it be more visible. There's lots of options out there. Weedmaps, they did a great job of marketing. Weedmaps has been awesome to me. My parties, like, pre-COVID and everything, they always sponsored me. They've always showed love and everything. But since I've been on the legal side, since I've been on the tech side over the last 9 years now, coming up this January, that's the single most popular answer I've always gotten is exactly what Jenny Beth just said. Like when I ask people, like, what do you think of Weedmaps? They say it's a necessary evil, right? Evil is not necessary. Like I feel like as much good as they could have done, I feel like they missed the ball. They dropped the ball on doing good and actually educating folks and getting them the information that they need to succeed. So it's my.
I talked with a friend of mine who has a pretty successful retail, and they told me that they are going to cancel Weedmaps and put their $10,000 a month that they would put into Weedmaps into X, because they think that they can get way more out of it, especially since X is allowing for cannabis advertising now.
I mean, good luck. I don't know. I don't know what the return looks like on that.
I don't know either. But he's saying, hey, like it can't. It's got to be better than at least I'm going to get data and analytics from X as opposed to getting it getting anything from Weedmaps, because all they get is a receipt basically from Weedmaps.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to shit on anybody's path forward. Something that hasn't been tried before. It'd be interesting play. I'd love to see what the returns look like on that. So.
All right. Well, fair enough. We're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into a commercial. We're going to be right back.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that, they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
The highest at 9 spice.
And we're gonna roll, Rico. We're gonna roll into Stone's story next because my story is similar, but I want Stone to be able to deliver his before I deliver mine. So I'm gonna roll at the end of the show.
Oh, look at that! Is that a concession speech by Jason Beck?
Definitely not. Definitely not. It's called a courtesy speech.
Y'all know who it is. Straight out the ATX. Jason, yeah, ATX.
No,
you say that?
It's Austin. It's Austin, bro. Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas, bro.
He's the man that says when y'all hit him low, he's gonna hit the high road, and he's here to break us off with a little Thirsty Thursday session for all y'all ladies out there looking at him, looking like the cannabis industry's very own James Dean, coming to the stage, none other than Stone Slade.
You think he's hot? You should see his wife.
Anyway, Texas, here we go again. Another legislative session is just around the corner, and once again, cannabis is taking center stage. This time, there's a glimmer of hope for the Lone Star State. State Representative Jessica Gonzalez of Dallas has filed a bill to legalize recreational or adult use cannabis, and it's about time. If passed, adults over the age of 21 could legally possess up to 2.5 ounces of cannabis for personal use, or keep up to 10 ounces securely at home. Of course, you still won't be able to light up in public because apparently enjoying your freedom has its limits. Now, this isn't just a small step, it's a giant step forward for a state that's been dragging its boots on cannabis policy for years. And yet, as progress marches forward, some folks are still clinging on to the past. I'm looking at you, Dan Patrick and Ken Paxton. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who seems to think cannabis is the greatest threat to Texas since Yankee carpetbaggers, is busy trying to ban all THC products outright. His latest crusade, Senate Bill 3, aims to make sure Texans can't legally buy even the mildest hemp-derived THC products. Meanwhile, Attorney General Ken Paxton, ever the dutiful prohibitionist, is waging legal war against Texas cities like Dallas that have decriminalized cannabis. You have to wonder, if the people are voting for decriminalization and their representatives are filing bills for legalization, who exactly are Patrick and Paxton working for? Take Dallas, for example. Nearly 70% of voters approve Proposition R, the Dallas Freedom Act, which prevents police from arresting or citing people for possessing small amounts of cannabis. It even bans officers from using the smell of cannabis as probable cause for searches. But Paxton isn't having it. He filed a lawsuit against the city as if stopping arrests for a plant is somehow an existential threat to Texas. Let's not forget the mess that is Texas's medical cannabis program, the Compassionate Use Program, or TCUP. It's been limping along since 2015, serving only a fraction of patients who could benefit from it. TCUP is one of the most restrictive programs in the country. To qualify, you have to jump through more hoops than a rodeo clown. Chronic pain, not covered. Want any more than a tiny dose of low THC cannabis? Good luck. Texas has 38 other states to look for inspiration, and yet we still manage to fall short. The irony here is almost laughable. Texas prides itself on being a state of freedom and independence, yet our cannabis laws are some of the most restrictive in the nation. We're watching state leaders cling to prohibition while 24 other states have legalized adult use cannabis and 38 allow medicinal use. Even Governor Abbott, who's made some noise supporting reductions in penalties for cannabis possession, has largely stayed quiet while Paxton and Patrick waged their personal war against the plant. And then there's Representative Gonzalez's bill. It's not perfect. You still can't smoke cannabis in public or a vehicle. That's, it's like that in many places. But it's a solid step in the right direction. The bill would also bring some much needed regulation to the cannabis market, child resistant packaging, clear labeling, and rules to keep products safe. Imagine that. Texans could actually know what they're buying and consuming, unlike the patchwork, unregulated mess that we have now with Delta-8 THC. The truth is, most of the Texas legislature seems to be moving closer to where the people are. Polls consistently show that majority of Texans, well over 60%, support legalization. Yet here we are, stuck with leaders who seem to think they know better than their own constituents. It's time to ask ourselves, are we going to let a handful of outdated politicians keep us locked in to the past, or are we ready to join the rest of the country in embracing common sense? Legalizing cannabis isn't just about freedom, it's about safety, economic opportunity, and giving Texans the choice they overwhelmingly want. Representative Gonzalez's bill, like I said, it's not a perfect solution, but it's a much needed starting point. The question now isn't whether the Texas legislature will listen to the people and pass the bill. It's whether, when this bill passes, will Dan Patrick allow it to make it to the governor's desk or fail to schedule it for this bill for debate or vote, which is in the power of his position as lieutenant governor. I'm Stone Slade, reporting for the High at 9 News.
Interesting, Stone.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
More the same, but we'll see. I don't know.
But I'm just gonna have to say it. I mean, you can still smoke in a vehicle. You just can't get caught smoking in a vehicle.
Yes, that is very.
That's the difference.
Good point to point out there. Good thing to point out there.
Yeah, because I mean, I know a lot of people that be, you know what I'm saying, burning in cars out there in Texas. You know what I mean? Like out in Houston, Dallas. You know what I'm saying? They begin with it out there.
I've been in some of these cars, allegedly. I know.
See,
what you're talking
see
about.
what I'm saying?
Kind of.
It's all good and gravy till the berries and cherries pop up. Jason, remember the last time you wanted to smoke in a car? You're like, I'm so frustrated. I want to smoke a joint right now. And 5 minutes later, we got pulled over.
Hey, Stone,
it happened to me in Georgia. It sucked. It was shitty. It was very shitty. And guess what else they found? The weed we hadn't smoked yet. So, you know, I mean, it's a risk you got to take sometimes, I guess.
If you smoke the weed faster, they won't find it though, Jenny.
My friend's dad had a rule that if you can't eat it or stick in your ass, you got too much on you.
Hey, so Stone, now that we're past the statute of limitation, I could talk about,
oh boy,
back when I was in H-Town back in college, man, about 24 years ago, man, my homeboy Herschel, he had a couple of those FOH stickers on his car. We were drinking beers, throwing them out the window, going about 20 over the speed limit. You can do what the fuck you want as long as you donate a certain amount to the police. Is it a similar situation with weed? The way they treat weed out there? Because we got pulled over, cops didn't say a damn thing; just told us to slow down. Saw the beer. Did say we were black as hell. All of us did not say a damn thing. Is it a similar situation with weed? If you got them, you know what I'm talking about, right? Those FOH donation stickers, platinum and gold.
Super Association, like I donated to the wives and this and that. Yeah. That goes too. But as far as cannabis, man, it depends on what county you're on. Like you get pulled over in Travis County, which is where most of the city of Austin is. You're probably going to be fine. You go a little north of the city into Williamson County, you might be going away for a minute. So.
Southern thing, because we used to have ours looked like a little badge, and we would all stick it over the peach in the middle of our Georgia license plates and just go on about our business.
I didn't get pulled over because of that sticker a lot.
Newport just sent me one, and I haven't donated to anybody, but I'm gonna stick that bitch on there just for shits and giggles.
Why not?
Yeah.
I'm continue to be amazed at the hypocrisy of conservatives who scream and yell about overregulation, over taxes until it comes to something like weed, and they tax and regulate the shit out of it and don't seem to understand the irony or the hypocrisy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when it does pass in Texas how overly taxed it more than likely will be. It's because they're gonna get theirs. When it happens, they're gonna get theirs.
Oh, that's Texas, bro. They're always gonna get theirs, bro. That's what it's all about out there.
What's going on?
Purpling of the state.
What's that, Rochelle?
What's going on though, Stone, with the proposed crackdown on the hemp THC?
Oh, well, Rochelle, I have a story all about that.
We're gonna roll right into that.
all this weight. That.
I have a story all about this crackdown. And speaking of cracking down, we're gonna roll right into attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer. He's the one cracking the whip, telling us what to do and how to do it correctly. Why? Because he is a lawyer. He's the founder of Armada Law, and at one point in time did some time for a cannabis crime. He defies gravity by pissing up a rope, and that is right. It is none other than attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer.
Thank you, Jason. Good morning, everybody. Unless you're on the East Coast, it's early afternoon. My story this morning comes out of MJ Biz Daily, and it's written by attorney Rachel Gillette. She's a guest columnist. She's in charge of the cannabis and psychedelics part of Holland and Hart out of Denver. And the headline is, "Are Republicans friend or foe of the state-regulated marijuana industry?" Got a clear answer for that? I'd like to hear it.
I do.
There's some points that I'm sure you do, but we'll see after Friday if they close the government down who's going to be on whose shit list here. Now, there's some points that she brought up in here. Some of them are no shit Sherlock. Some of them are just more towards you need to get your head out of your ass and look at this from the standpoint of what the people want. One of her points is that there's widespread public support, and it's up to like 88% now for putting an end to this nonsense, getting this regulated, allowing the states to do this, get out of the way. Now that's just been growing consistently as more people take a look at this, especially if you can compare it to what they're doing with alcohol, which really is no comparison to alcohol and cannabis. Cannabis is so much safer. When you look at what's going on with cannabis, most people realize that the reason we hate the government is for why they tax and regulate the hell out of cannabis. Another point is people want freedom from government interference. Now, this is one of the themes of the last election. They want to tear the bureaucracies down. Cannabis is trapped in a bureaucracies that come at you from multiple different directions. There's 55% support generally, and amongst conservatives, 81% are in favor of getting around and getting rid of all this government interference. It employs a lot of people. 440,000 people, and the numbers are increasing. Now, compared to other industries, that's not huge. But considering how screwed up the regulations and taxes are, the fact that there's that many people employed right now, and if they don't do it like California and actually build an industry that's workable, and those numbers are going to grow. There's also the argument that these regulated products are exclusively produced and grown in the United States. That's going to have some tremendous sex appeal over the next few years as we try to focus back on the United States and making things here. Now, there's also the obvious no shit. We face unfair taxes, and we've been targeted by the IRS. 280E continues to be a problem. If we go back and look at the genesis, back, I think it was in the 80s, some drug dealer filed tax returns, and they couldn't stop them. So the Congress said, no, we're going to pass a law that if you're a drug dealer, all you can do is subtract your cost of goods sold. And that we continue to have that without anybody looking at whether we should modify this or get rid of it. If you do talk about it, get torpedoed. Okay? Now, obviously, the industry is overregulated. And especially when you take a look at things like alcohol, there is no comparison to the regulations. You generally get out of your way. And if anybody's tried to put an event on where you rent some public hall, you can get an alcohol license without even batting an eye. You can have alcohol at your event, sell it. But my God, you consider trying to bring cannabis there, little old ladies faint and, politicians shit their pants. Oh my God, we couldn't have that. Well, the comparisons are not favorable for people regulating cannabis. Now, they've also pointed out that trafficking across the U.S. borders down 88% since we regulated this. Back in my day, and this is back in the 70s, we got bricked up dirt weed, we called it, coming out of Mexico. And that's where most of your weed came from, was across the Mexican border from Colombia, Acapulco. the bad shit that Cheech and Chong laughed about. No stems, no seeds. You can never find weed in those days without stems and seeds. The final point that they're making is it may be time for the Supreme Court to step in. Now, I've been talking about this for quite some time, and I think that if we keep Clarence Thomas on, or even if the Trump replaces him with somebody that's equally conservative, who wants to go back and read the Constitution, and it clearly says the federal government has the power to regulate commerce amongst the state, not within the states. And I'm hoping that the rates decision will be thrown in the trash can and go clear back to that monstrosity, Wickard versus Filburn, where we now have the federal government regulating damn near everything because it crosses a border someplace. They claim it has a substantial impact on interstate commerce. So I'm hoping that goes away. And to stand back at 30,000 feet here, I've talked a little bit about the new Attorney General coming in, Pam Bondi, that she's really not a big fan, but I don't think she's the enemy. I think even Tom Tillis, who's going to be the head of the Senate, and before McConnell falls down, break his hips like Pelosi did, maybe we'll have a chance to get something out of Congress. This upcoming rescheduling thing is just going to be a shit show if it actually goes forward. I'd personally like to see it thrown into something like ATF and let them regulate, take a little money off the top of the federal level and get out of the way and let the states bring it across state lines. California would flourish if we could grow and sell weed legally across the country. We do it right now anyway. I was part of the Appalachian program here in California, and there's a lot of Appalachians that could actually make some money if they could sell it in stores in New York and Chicago and up in Minnesota as Appalachian grown in California. So there's a lot of room for improvement here. I just don't know going into the inauguration whether this apple cart is going to get overturned enough for more problems to take the oxygen out of the air, or whether cannabis can grab any of the headlines, try to get something done besides the shit show that it's been for the last few years. I'm going to throw this back at you for your comment. What do you guys think?
You know what I think. I think.
Oh, come on, Jason. Yeah. Give us some wisdom. Come on.
I'm just gonna say this. There's been a lot of gaslighting, and there are a good variety of good Democrats that are friends to cannabis. But I think that the Republican Party overall, based off of their fundamental core beliefs, as long as they stick to them, and you're not confusing Republicans with rhinos, the Republicans are going to be far, far, far better on this issue overall.
But Jason, and this is just me being as straight as an arrow right here. What are the core beliefs, and who in office right now adheres to such beliefs?
Oh, there's Nancy Mace for starters. Yeah. Shout out Nancy Mace. Shout out South Carolina.
Nancy Mace would approve of my dress.
No. That wasn't. I was like, what are the core beliefs? I'm not saying who. I'm saying what are the Republican core beliefs, and who's sticking to those core beliefs right now?
Core beliefs.
Because I would argue that they have changed. Would you agree that they have changed?
No.
Under Trump, because they're no longer what they used to be.
Nope. I do not agree. I do not agree with that assessment. They may look different to you, possibly, because you always look at things from a skewed glass. You know what I'm saying? Usually when you have your glasses on and whatnot. But I think a perfect example of this is what we saw with them trying to pass this continuing resolution right now, and all of the pushback that it had on social media, and now that bill is pretty much dead.
What are the core beliefs?
Core beliefs: freedom, liberty, the right to choose, Rico.
Yeah, that's what Texas conservatives are arguing, right?
Well, I wish you'd let the Texas conservatives know that, because they don't let us choose shit down here.
Don't worry, Stone. I'm working on something possibly with you guys to help you guys out down there. That's a possible play that's in the works. So we'll see what happens with that.
We all know about Parody Gummy.
I wasn't even referring to Parody Gummy, Jenny Beth.
Parody Gummy to the rescue.
But yeah, speaking of which, make sure that you go to www.parodygummy.com and secure your bag today. We will ship it to all 50 states, no matter where you live at.
Coming to an ATX gas station near you.
100%. 100. We're already in Austin.
Patrick has anything to say.
You can go find us at Delta Bros over there in the great city of Austin, Texas, all day, every day.
Well, I'm sure that we'll bring this back up. I mean, if the vets and Social Security recipients don't get their money this month, we may have a whole new set of can of worms to deal with next month. Because there are consequences to things going on. And I'm not saying anybody's right here because I think they overspend. Fucking credit card of the United States is being tapped for every goddamn thing, and it needs to stop. And it's not going to stop without some pain. But the pain may cause our issues to be put on the back burner. And it seems like that's what always happens, is that we get put onto a side rail or a back burner. And how do we get into there's plenty of people you can go talk to say they support us. When it comes to putting bills on the floor, getting them passed through both houses and getting to the president, we haven't got shit done. So I'm anxiously waiting, and I'll bring this back up because we'll watch. I'd like the Republicans to do what they say they're going to do, but talk is cheap. We're still in this position where people are having their lives turned upside down because the federal government does not want to fix this.
Well, I will say this in regards to that. We do have Elon on our side now, and any Republican that pulls a stray is liable to get primaried coming up pretty soon. So it's just, what I'm saying, that's all a reality. But
hey, Jason, we call out that super chat we got.
I'm getting ready. Yeah, I was getting ready to do that. Yes, thank you so much to the Cole Memo for this big old super chat. Who says, I ate a Sleepy Joe and woke up at Hunter's house. You guys.
Because nobody's asleep at Hunter's house.
Ain't nobody sleeping at Hunter's house. That's for sure. That's for sure. And speaking of that, we're going to roll into the commercial and we're going to be right back. You can go and get some Sleepy Joes too. Are you all ready for America's new #1 D9 gummy line? That's right. We are bringing to you Parody Gummy. These vegan gummies are manufactured in a safe harbor facility, so they're going to be clean and safe, and they're not going to give you any of the runaround. Coming in, we have 3 amazing flavors for you. We have the Raspberry Riots. Also, we have the Sleepy Joes if you need something to help you sleep at night. And if you're feeling like raging and having a party time, that's right, we have the Pineapple Bad Hombre. If you're feeling like a bad hombre, make sure you head over to www.parodygummy.com and secure your bag today.
All right, stop. Drop acid that day.
Oh boy, stop whatever you're doing. Oh man, make sure you smash that like button as long as you can still see it. I know we'll appreciate it, you'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already, and all of the articles that we cover on today's show you can read directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. And Rochelle and Stone both have original pieces today, and so those will be posted on X as original articles. So make sure you go over to X and make sure that you're following us, as well as make sure that you reshare their 2 articles once they go up today. Are you a business that's suffering from the hyperinflation that is plaguing America today? We have the solution for you. That's right, Patriot Business Financing. Head on over to www.patriotbfc.com and apply for a loan up to $2 million. Any state, any industry, even the cannabis industry, the CBD industry, as well as the industrial hemp fiber industry. Secure up to $2 million today, and make sure that when you apply, you tell Paul you said hi from High at 9. And we're back.
Yes, we are. And today we have a very special somebody opening up the second half. And, she's a conservative mouth from the South. She is, the juice behind Justice Served, 501c3. You know what I'm saying? She's done a lot of things in this industry. And over the last 35 years, she's made a name for herself in America for being one of the most stand-up people, depending on who's sitting down in front of her. And today, it is the 36th motherfucking birthday for Jenny Beth Dills. Can we get a happy birthday? Can we get a happy birthday?
I don't have a happy birthday sound yet.
Oh, you don't have the happy birthday?
I'm sorry.
You don't have
Jason, can you sing to me?
I have applause. Happy birthday, Jenny Beth. That's your birthday, girl. Get it.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
He is my son. He came out of me. I'm for sure he's my son. There's no questions there.
Were you awake?
Long 38 hours.
Wow.
Lord. All right. So my story is short and sweet and good news because I wanted something short, sweet, easy, and happy. So local cannabis businesses are spreading holiday cheer while supporting women and families in need. 2 Rochester businesses, Good Life Collective and Umami, joined forces for a Women in Need holiday drive on Wednesday. The event encouraged the community to donate essentials like diapers, formula, wipes, and clothing to support families facing tough times during the holidays. Cheyenne, a bud tender at Good Life Collective, emphasized the power of collective effort, saying if we all come together, our community could do 10 times better. It doesn't just take one person, it takes multiple people to make change. All donations from the event are being directed to the Bethany House, an organization dedicated to helping women and children in need. Jenna Reese, the social media marketing coordinator at Umami, shared how personal this initiative is, saying, I'm a mother as well, so this fundraiser really is close to my heart. So for more information about the Bethany House and how you can help, you can visit the Bethany House's website. So I'm really excited to share this story. This goes back to what I said forever and ever.
Sorry. Why did it? I apologize. Sorry.
Don't press buttons.
I didn't mean to do that. I was stretching my arm. I was stretching my arm. I apologize. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Jenny Beth.
So as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, wow. We could do a lot more good than just selling people weed. And yes, cannabis is a very healing plant. But if you look at Colorado, look at all the parks, look at all the things that say because of medical marijuana. And, I see a lot of people doing good. There's a thing where people want to do it and say, look what I did.
Mm-hmm.
This article makes a very good point. We should all just join together and do things for the good of doing them, not for the clout or the tax write-offs.
I think this is a fantastic story. But so can you tell me what Bethany's House and what do they actually do?
The Bethany House supports women and children in need. So either women who have left for domestic violence, single mothers, being, things are tough. And like, this is obviously, Jason, my story, Rico, a little bit of it. Like, this hits very close to home for me too. Like when you leave a situation, it's not always easy and it's hard raising children and it's definitely hard doing it alone. And it's definitely, a scary time. And if you don't get the support that you need, sometimes that can go very, very sideways very, very quickly. So I think that whatever we can do to help, we should do.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what state are they in, Jenny Beth?
New York.
In New York, the great state of New York. Shout out to New York. I hope people definitely support this cause. We have to as men, we have to protect women overall, and that's just part of the nature of the game. And so this is a big deal, and I do hope that everybody does get involved with this to the extent that they are able to.
Yeah, and as representatives of the cannabis industry, one side or the other, we know that cannabis retailers and cannabis producers, manufacturers, they don't have a lot to give. So if you're hearing this message, chip in yourself. Like, for real. Like, we know the motherfuckers are hurting right now. The biggest tech company is getting out the game right now. Like, things aren't that great. So it is awesome that they're doing this. But if y'all can chip in too, even if you're not in the industry right now, like on the legal side or whatever, like, throw some dollars in, man. Do this shit for the women.
That's right. You know what I'm saying?
And you can also go online and look for your local women's shelter. Look for, victims of domestic violence, nonprofits, things like that. That's how you can support these women. And it's.
We should step up to help our most vulnerable, especially women coming from domestic violence with children. Yeah. I mean, you're really out there just flipping in the wind. And, Jason, I don't want to be too trad dad here, but I've got daughters and none of them have experienced domestic violence like that, but they've been single mothers before. And when your family's not there to help you, you really are just flipping around in the wind. And as a society, these are the most vulnerable in our society. And we need to step up and protect them, bring them under our cover of protection.
I totally agree with that.
Because we really don't stand for shit in this country if we don't protect the most vulnerable. And the industry's suffering, but all of us, I mean, I'm a dad. I've been a husband before. I got a bunch of children. And it's the best thing I ever did was to have children. But then to watch, a woman get beat up or be thrown out of her house or, trying to struggle with children, it taps me in the heart. We should all reach out our arms and protect them because ultimately those kids are going to be members of our society and productive members of our society if they understand that there are people out there who care about them, that'll help feed them, that'll love them, tell them that what they're doing is good, give them a path forward where they're not going out and stealing and getting into things that kids especially without dads. I mean, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have a man around, not that they're there all the time, but to step in and show them how to respect women. We lost and because it's important that young men know how to respect women. And there's nothing like a dad telling you that if you do that, I will kick your ass.
Exactly.
Okay, you're not going to get away with that.
I totally agree with that.
We have to support these people. Like, it destroyed my life. I did not have that support. I do not have a family system. I took support from the wrong person and child. So, that's the dad's family. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's very important to be aware. If you see something, fucking say something. If you can do something, do something. So,
Jenny, is there a website for people to donate online for this charity?
Let me get Bethany House's website, and I'm going to drop it in the chat.
Drop it in the chat, and then also send it over to me, and I'll make sure that we put it into the description of this video. So then that way, if anybody's watching it, they can also find it there if they want to contribute financially to this worthy cause. And happy birthday, Jenny Beth. We are going to roll into a commercial. Rochelle, do you have anything that you'd like to say on this?
Just that I'm really glad to hear stories like this and to see the weed community give back, especially to women in this situation. It's so important. And I really appreciate Jenny Beth sharing this. And happy birthday.
Love that. Love that. We're going to roll into our final commercial. We're going to be right back. We're back. We're back, you guys. Rico, you want to introduce Rochelle?
Yes. Up next, we have Cannabis Psychedelics writer and editor over at Green State, the cannabis Lego champion of the motherfucking world, and the one true journalist on our staff. Here to break us off with a little Thursday heat, none other than Rochelle Gordon.
I quite the flair there on the name. Thanks, Rico. Hopefully I forgot that my green sweatshirt probably would show up with the green screen effect, so hopefully it's not too wild. But something a little bit lighter now. An article I wrote for Green State this week. Science reveals the weird way weed helps you sleep. Many cannabis consumers turn to the plant for a specific reason. According to a recent survey, sleep is one of the most common use cases. One cannabis compound thought to promote a better night's rest is CBN. Until now, scientific evidence of its efficacy has remained limited. However, a new study reveals some surprising insights on CBN and sleep. Research published in the journal Neuropsychopharmacology focused on how CBN affects the quality of sleep in rats. The animal's brain activity and body movements were continually monitored so that scientists could understand the cannabinoids' effects on sleep architecture. Things like non-rapid eye movement sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, time spent asleep, and sleep onset were recorded. Rats were given various doses of CBN. A control group received zolpidem, a commonly prescribed sleep aid. Scientists discovered that CBN worked better overall, although there were some twists. Research revealed CBN boosted total sleep time. heightening the quality of NREM sleep. This included lengthier periods of sleep and fewer disruptions. Compound also increased REM duration over time. That's in line with a separate study of CBN and sleep, which showed the cannabinoid led to more restful sleep. However, the CBN took longer to kick in versus the zolpidem. It also suppressed REM sleep initially before eventually enhancing it. Some tolerance developed, but the uninterrupted NREM sleep persisted. Despite this, the researchers concluded that CBN helped stabilize sleep architecture, improving sleep quality. Our study provides the first objective evidence that CBN increases sleep, at least in rats, by modifying the architecture of sleep in a beneficial way, the paper's authors said. Results were surprising in that the cannabinoid must often fail before it succeeds, but the eventual efficacy is welcome news for scientists and the sleep-derived alike. Researchers acknowledged a few limitations to the study. High doses of CBN were used, mostly outpacing what's commercially available in dispensaries. They also noted that human trials are necessary to confirm the findings. Products containing CBN are flying off dispensary shelves, despite mixed opinions from doctors on whether they actually work. The latest findings show the cannabinoid may be effective, but it could take time to work properly. Regardless, the data is exciting for the millions of Americans suffering from insomnia, searching for an alternate and potentially potent treatment for prescription drugs. So, what do you guys think about CBN and sleep? Have you ever tried it? I know, for me, I think that a lot of the products on the market aren't that effective. I love the one-to-ones from Space Gem in California, THC to CBN. I feel like a lot of the products contain too much THC, not enough CBN. The only product that I will 1,000% swear by and endorse is True CBN, which is a CBN isolate capsule made by FloraWorks. Typically, I never fuck with isolate, but this product is 1,000% effective, at least for me. I've given it to many, many people. They all say the same thing. Shit works. What do you guys think? Do you use CBN, or is it just a big marketing?
Oh man,
I do. I don't go seek it out, but yeah, big shout out to Space Jam. When we were judging for the Women's Cannabis Awards earlier this year. Like, there's some fantastic shit. Knock my ass the fuck out.
They're the absolute best. Space Gems are amazing. Shout out to Wendy. And no, CBN is not a marketing trick. It is definitely something that works. So back in 2016, 17, found a way to convert it from the THC and the mother liquor and hemp, because CBN is the natural degradation process of THC, right? So like when we used to smoke that Bammer weed that was old and degraded, and it would just make you feel like you're this for the rest of the day and you can't get off the couch or maybe move your face, because it was converted to CBN. So that's why you got so high. That's why people like Swami are like, I like smoking old weed, because now you're getting that couch lock effect from the CBN. So in a ratioed sense, yeah, you can counteract it. But I think that CBN is definitely a very effective cannabinoid for people who are experiencing sleeplessness and for relaxation. I also do want to throw this out there, though, because if you are being drug tested, even CBN that is converted from hemp, right, will, as your body metabolizes it, show up as a THC metabolite. So you need to be aware of that for people who need to pass drug tests. If you're in the military, if you're a truck driver, something like that, then it would not be.
Fascinating. What do you have?
Sometimes I know some things.
It needs to be worked on more, because there are ways sublingually, especially, to have the onset be quicker. It needs to be manufactured pharmacologically so that when it does go through your liver, you know what you're getting and people understand that. Because right now, there's a lot of people that really don't understand the pharmacology of cannabis that are making products that, yeah, it's a sledgehammer. It'll fuck you up and knock you out for a while. But if you're looking for someone who might be sensitive to it, how do you treat someone that's sensitive and start low and slow and get them to actually use it? Because in my experience, if it takes 2 hours for the onset, people are taking more stuff. And the next thing you know, they're fucked up for a couple of days. That's not a good marketing technique. So I use CBN in a chocolate from Kiva out here in California, but it takes a while to kick in. The good news is the next day I don't feel a hangover. And a lot of the insomnia medications, the next day you are hungover like hell and you really can't function. So there we need some more research, some more pharmacologists coming in, and then education to the public, because this really is a medicinal agent that's better than melatonin, safer than melatonin. And I think that there's a future there for medical use, especially for old farts like me.
No, and that was, ours was a tincture, so it was really cool, but it was also a very expensive process. You know, you can't just like slap these things together. We had our extraction facility, we had the home office where we were doing formularies, and then we had a very, 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 very expensive in-house testing lab before we sent out for third party, where we employed very skilled scientists. So we actually knew what we were giving people. And then threw in a nurse's hotline where you could call a nurse even if you bought a $19 tincture and get advice. So I think you guys, when we're looking at cannabis from a medical standpoint, Dale's absolutely right. We can't just be, you know, throwing shit at the wall and then sending it out to people and saying this is going to fix my issue.
Oh, you know, because people love to throw shit at the wall in cannabis. That's for sure, Jenny Beth.
Hey, does Sleepy Joe's, does that have CBN in it?
Yes, it does, bro. Lots of CBN. You
It's got whatever you want in it.
Make your ass go night-night. You know what I'm saying? It's formulated specifically for sleep relief. Rico. Very cute. Very cute.
Allegedly.
I mean, it's called Sleepy Joe's, bro. The name says it all right there. You know what I'm
You just
saying?
like extract blood directly from.
It's not going to give you dementia. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you will go to sleep.
Yeah, you wake up walking into a tree right in the middle of the rainforest.
Oh, whoa. I mean, the Cole memo woke up in Hunter Biden's house. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
fair enough. I'm gonna roll into my story before you get out of here, Rico. I think you're gonna. I think you may enjoy this. And this is for you, Stone. This is a follow up on your story. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's right. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick says Texas has a THC problem. And experts and state leaders worry the ban goes too far, you guys. That's right. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick's proposed ban on THC would impact all products sold without a prescription. But some experts, including the state's agriculture commissioner, say enforcing restrictions could be an alternative solution. In his Senate Bill number 3 proposal, Patrick said retailers exploited House Bill 1325 since it was made law in 2019. And alleges that children have been exposed to dangerous levels of THC. In a quote, since 2023, thousands of stores selling hazardous THC products have popped up in communities across the state, and many sell products including beverages that have 3 to 4 times the THC content which might be found in marijuana purchased from a drug retailer, Patrick said. HB 135 was introduced in Texas following the passing of the federal 2018 Farm Bill, signed into law by then and future President Donald J. Trump, making it legal to grow industrial hemp. The Texas bill not only made it legal to grow industrial hemp, which contains 0.3% or less THC, the chemical in marijuana that gets you high, it also allowed for hemp products to be sold in the state. The purpose of the bill was to promote new commercial businesses for farmers and businesses, and a ban would not have an effect on the state's agricultural business, said the Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller, because of a shift from interest in CBD oil to industrial hemp. Texas has more growing acres of hemp now than ever before, and in a quote says, "We're going to grow a lot more hemp than we've been growing, but for a different purpose," he said. However, a ban on all THC could have a negative impact on businesses selling small amounts of THC across the state, along with a loss of sales tax revenue. HB 13325 created a large economy that has only grown in the last 5 years, said Raji Shinavarian, a marketing professor at the University of Texas in Austin. He says by banning THC, that businesses would not disappear, it would go underground. That's right, the trap's going to survive, Rico. That's because historically, when something has been banned, people find ways to get it, he said. Well, that's true. And in a quote, in addition to tax loss implications for the government, I think there may be some sort of consumer welfare implications, Senarian said. And then a quote says, because then you don't know if it's clean, if it's safe.
Does it have some other drugs like fentanyl? Oh, come on, you're gaslighting on this, but whatever. But there are still concerns about THC products falling into the wrong hands. Although HB 1325 prioritized farmers and business owners, it left out one regulation that applies to alcohol, cigarettes, and e-cigarettes: age restrictions. HB 1325 does not set a minimum age to purchase consumable hemp products in Texas. Yeah, we probably should have already done that, Miller said about the age restrictions, and the agricultural commissioner said the state has received reports from parents of second and third graders getting access to THC products. We all know that's because their parents left them out and whatnot, but whatever. Pressed for details, Miller said he did not know how many reports there were or in which school districts the alleged incidents occurred, but he said that it would help to have legislative hearings and testimony. A ban on all THC could move the products to the black market, increasing the risk for children, said Shelby Stewart, a postdoctoral fellow with the University of Chicago and Northwestern University Health Services Research Program. Oh, I bet you like that one, Rico. Stewart's research has focused on cannabis policy and how it impacts patients and the healthcare system. She said black market edibles tend to have a higher potency and can be made to look like grocery store candy to enhance appeal. In a quote, that increases the risk for children because it's harder to tell them apart from regular non-THC candy that you could find at the grocery store, Stewart said. Whereas in states where they have legal cannabis, there's really strict rules about what edibles can look like. She added that making THC illegal could increase poisoning risk, with parents afraid to report to their doctor of parents worried about child protective services. And in a quote says, it just creates this sort of underground thing, Stewart said. And it may look safer on the surface, but it's just because less is being reported often. And Rahi Abouk, director of the Cannabis Research Institute at William Patterson University, said adult use cannabis laws have been successful in curtailing THC access to underage population. The data so far at least suggests that we don't see an upward trend in cannabis use among the underage population, those who are under 21 or 18 years of age, which is good. Abouk also said that he added that legalization has helped with pain management and reducing opioid-related mortality. Patrick's THC ban would not include Texas Compassionate Use Program, which allows low levels of THC to be prescribed to patients with qualifying conditions, and Texas law recognizes 9 conditions for a CUP, whereas other states allow up to 30, Stewart said. Additionally, restricting THC only prescription-based can be extremely costly for those without insurance, Stewart said. In a quote, one issue a lot of states face with their compassionate use programs is the prices in order to participate are very high, Stewart said. So you have to see a doctor usually several times. The cash pay for that can be hundreds of dollars per visit, he says. Some states also require a fee both to register and participate. However, Texas does not. And restrictions are probably necessary, Miller said, but he added the pros and cons would be weighed in the legislative session, which starts the second Tuesday of January. Nearly everybody has a story about someone in their family or a friend that had PTSD or cancer or glaucoma or something that this product has helped. So we don't want to make it impossible for people to get the relief they need, Miller said, and that's my concern. Well, what do you guys have to say about this? Dan Patrick may have gone too far with his ban, and hopefully that is going to bode well for the dying of SB3, but we shall see. What do y'all have to say about this?
Mr. ATX, you first.
Yeah, he's definitely gone too far. I mean, and we all knew that immediately. His reasoning is he's protecting Texans from THC, but all that's going to do, it's not going to create more. It's not going to create more, whatever he said in the article. It's just going to feed the already thriving black market in Texas. Mm-hmm. Sid Miller, though, Sid Miller's a good boy, good old boy, Republican dude, but he stands up. He understands the impact that has on Texas agriculture, and he's standing up to protect it. He was one of the first guys, really, Republicans to stand up and say something publicly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shout out to Sid Miller, man, most definitely.
Well, they don't seem to really comprehend that if you try to outlaw this, you have to have dollars to enforce the prohibitions. I mean, and nobody likes to talk about what it costs to enforce prohibitions, but they're extensive and they tend to be hidden in law enforcement budgets. And the hysteria over kids getting their hands on this. When I worked in an emergency room, I saw a child die in front of us because they'd eaten Tylenol. Okay. Tylenol you can buy over the counter. So I've never seen a child die from an overdose of THC. They may be unconscious, but back in the day when kids had problems with seizures, they made them unconscious and they got a good night's sleep, and no one was too concerned about it. So the hysteria over children getting it is a bit blown out of proportion. I'm not advocating you give your kids a 100 milligram gummy. That's pretty stupid. And if you do get a hold of it, you need to have a little serious talk about who left it out so a kid could get it. I don't think there should be criminal ramifications, but run into the emergency room. We had people come in, like their kid got a hold of their weed or whatever. The kid was sleeping, and we just walk out in the hallway and laugh. It's like, okay, this kid ain't going to die. Parents are stupid and hysterical. That should not be one of those points where, oh, we've got to protect the children. Protect them from what? They're not going to die from eating this. That's the big concern you have in medicine. And I'm telling you, I've seen kids die from eating Tylenol. Okay. And nobody even seems to think without child-proof caps, kids would still be dying from eating Tylenol. There are things that can be done, but the hysteria is just not warranted.
Yeah, and Miss Leah Patrick says fees for telehealth appointments and tinctures are cha-ching, and there's no discounts for the disabled in Texas.
It's a money grab, for sure.
Hey, that's crazy when your governor is, never mind.
Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there, Rico. I see what you did there.
Just saying. Just
Well, guy.
Anybody can get it.
That's cute. That's cute. That's cute. Birthday girl, you have anything you want to say about this with Mr. Dan Patrick?
Dan Patrick's a fucking idiot. Like, this is just absolutely ridiculous. There are so many more important things to be battling over and so many more important things to be done to protect people, to protect children, to protect his constituents. And, like, just listen to the will of the people, give people access. You're criminalizing something, and I understand your little for-profit prison system enjoys that, but shame on you. He's not even like originally from Texas. He is he's actually from Baltimore, Maryland, and he got popular because he had a radio talk show. You know what? That actually, I remember that. And that actually sounds like somebody who ran for governor here, right?
Is Jason Beck?
No.
Oh,
I've not ran for governor.
He's bobbing for turds in a bucket, this Dan Patrick.
Bobbing for turds in a bucket.
Dale says that.
I don't know.
That sounds like a Daleism. I can see that. Bobbing for turds.
Bobbing for turds in a bucket. Oh, man. On that note, that's a good way to end the day, man, on the Texas two-step. But thank y'all for joining us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the super fans getting their comments posted live on the screen. We have a Cole memo.
Yeah, thank you, Cole memo.
Today, we have any more out there, Jason?
Just the Cole memo. Just the Cole memo today.
All right. Cole memo does make a difference on our show. But also, big love to the live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry, to our vetted correspondent team, tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping our lights on and AV struggles to a minimum. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you too, baby girl. It has been Thursday, December 19th, 2024. The show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope is enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News, America's #1 daily cannabis news show. And today, y'all know who we're going to pop right back out to, the birthday girl herself, Jenny Beth Dills.
If you want to celebrate my birthday, look up your local domestic violence women's shelter and send them, well, I don't care if it's $5, but make a donation. Do that for my birthday.
Or donate some time. Donate some time to a shelter.
Love that. Adam, you got some Christmas music to play, Adam?